What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Could we actually do like a full live episode that feels like it was pre-recorded? Doubtful. Let's go ahead and roll that intro. Okay, just kidding. So how's it going, everybody? I have not been able to get out on the lawn for the last 8 or 9 days. It's been a little bit. So main reason, oh look, there's a steak. Good morning, A. How you doing, buddy? We have had absolutely insane winds up here. Absolutely insane. Starting last Tuesday, and pretty much I've got like leaf debris and sticks and all kinds of stuff. And today is the very first day we had snow. Also on Tuesday, we had 50, 60 mile an hour wind. It was just nuts. It was crazy around here. So haven't really had anything to do up here on the lawn, and definitely couldn't film because there was no way to get through it. So I figured this would be a good morning to just go hit a quick live one, check in with everybody so that I could say hi and you don't forget about me. But yeah, we're actually kind of getting ready to start a major project back here. So I don't know if before, I did this in a video talking about what was about to go there, but we are going to be breaking ground on a building right back here. Little plastic shed is finally going away. So it's going to go to a new home. That's what's going to happen. But we went through a frost. I still haven't mowed anything. The lawn is holding up really good. It has not been fed. It has been off of its spoon feeding program for almost like 3 weeks. So the last time it got anything was now almost 3 weeks ago, and it's just sort of hanging strong in here. I don't have my kidney bean grown in. Everything's just kind of hanging out. It's been kind of weird, I gotta be honest. So, there's some questions. Greg, the bent grass is actually going to be in the spring now because it took so long to pull our permits. We don't think I don't think we're gonna have time to be able to build everything the way that we want to before it gets too snowy. So that's been really the big delay is permitting, and it's been a bit. James, I think that's a really good question. So James just asked about responding to the liquid aeration is a scam video. I think everybody should get a chance to watch that video. I don't think that it should be shied away from, and I think that everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own conclusions. I actually was very pleased to get to have some back and forth conversation with Matt this morning, as a matter of fact, about the whole thing. So, I would say, aside from just a few details that are in there, that could have been maybe slightly more accurate, just in regards to air rate itself, that would have been better, but it's okay. It's totally fine. I think that video, for the most part, had an awful lot of accurate things to say. So, again, everybody is entitled to have their own opinion, to walk through things. I totally agree that a lot of the stuff that's being marketed as liquid aeration products are just surfactants, and that has been something that's separated us from kind of the herd, right? So the whole point of that material, and it's a good time to just sort of chat about that, was actually to enhance deeper development of the plant itself and actually increase more rooting and maintain open spaces. Like, that's really what it is. So it kind of, in reality, if you were going to fit it more into a category, it fits into that more soil amendment slash biostimulant category more than anything else, especially not as a wetting agent. But again, it's okay. I think that, I honestly think that no matter what anybody has as far as their opinions go or how the video was put out, I think that you need to understand that there was a lot of stuff that was being, cleared up in that video, and, showing actually what some of the positives and maybe some of the negatives were. So take it, leave it, use it if you think it's a good tool. Don't use it if it's a good tool. That's totally up to you guys. So that's really all I would say about that. I think that you guys can make your own decisions. And obviously, for me, having used and created and, obviously selling air rate to everyone, pros and everything else. It's a major piece of the industry now at this point, and obviously I've been using it on my own lawn forever, and anybody else's lawn that I choose to put it on. And you know, it's just an extremely positive thing to be part of your program. That's really the best thing I can say about it. Use it as a tool, put it out, put it along with fertilizer, put it along with anything else that you want to, and just watch your grass just take off. In fact, there will be people who put that material out by itself. It's used as a rescue product, and with a lot of pros out there that are doing it to just to fix lawn issues that they can't otherwise get the needle to move on. So I think that's something to talk about. Oh, there's a couple fun things in here real quick. Okay, so Kenny John, the aerate study. So half of the study is actually done already, but we won't have data on it until, like, the completion of it, I don't think is until like 6 or 8 weeks away. So we still have a little bit of time. That's something, just because there's multiple facets going into that side. We have root germination, or like root, basically root structure, showing how the enhancements are on that. That study's already done. So we're rating right now on the compaction stuff, I-core readings, all of that kind of stuff. So there's still more to do, and you know, Professor Gerald Henry does a bang up job over there, and his students and everything else is pretty. They're gonna really hit it. So this is okay. Let me Peter Brown. So Peter, all right, this is gonna be a topic coming up in a video. It's more than likely there's going to be a 30-yard dumpster sitting on this lawn, and we will basically be ripping this whole thing out. And that background that I've had for so long is going to be gone. That's going to get ripped out and taken down, and I'm building a 20-foot tall steel swing set for the kids and possibly adults. So if you come over here, you'd be able to really get a serious swing. But everything up here, that's going in the ground. There's more turf going in up here, more turf going in where all this stuff is getting all ripped out. So there's actually going to be quite a bit. So this whole thing is going to be very different, probably going to bring up the level of the lawn itself by about a foot. So we're tearing down all the retaining walls. But again, because it looks like we might just have maybe an early winter, I don't think we're going to get to all of that this year. So it'll be fun. I'll be keeping track of all the progress. But when some of you come out and visit and get to see the place, and we come up and sit in what's going to be the new gym, home office, perhaps toy storage garage, the view from up there is pretty fantastic. And you know, we can all hang out and have a nice cold one, or maybe even a hot one, whatever it is, whatever you prefer. So the grass is going to die, everybody. The beautiful turf. It's been a fun journey, but sometimes you have to say goodbye. Just kidding. So anyway, you know, I hope, like I said, you guys, you know, I think that, like I said, go ahead and take anything with a grain of salt, make your own conclusions, make your own opinions, and be good with it. So, hey, you know what, Richard? Actually, I was thinking about pulling some plugs and sending them to some people and just putting them into little plastic things. I think Zach Williams would really want to have some of this, and maybe it could continue on its life somewhere else. And we had thought about pulling some away and putting it in other places also. A Willy Wonka type giveaway, golden tickets. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Peter. We should totally do that. That's a great idea. So, otherwise, yeah, that was really my holdup. The only thing that I had going on this week is I wasn't able to get out and film because the weather was so freaking crappy. And now I've got to finish up about 6 videos that are in the queue, and I'm going to go ahead and just give you guys an idea of what you're going to be looking forward to here coming up. So last week or so, I did that soil conditioners video, and obviously got a lot of good responses on that. People were curious and asked some really great questions. I like that. There is a biostimulant one in the works as well. So we're going to dive a little more deeply into biostimulants. And that's not just the marketing term from what I use at Greene County, but biostimulants as a whole. I mean, I'm going to go through the whole gamut of what would be considered and where those work the best. So I think that that's going to be something that could be eye-opening for a lot of people in how they use some of those tools and where they work the best. So there's that coming out. I also have a product that I got from Yard Mastery that I'm going to do something about, and I mean, I'll just go ahead and tell everybody about it because a lot of you do like my soil test thing. But you know, Yard Mastery is carrying a 0048 coated sulfate of potash, which is a freaking-tastic spreadable, hardened sulfate of potash, and that material is hard to find for a lot of people. So I actually ordered some, I bought it, and I paid for it, and I told Alan that that's what I was doing, and I wanted to see exactly how well they fulfilled it, and it got to me, and it actually came all in one piece, so I'm pretty excited about that. So there's going to be some talk about sulfate of potash, making sure you're getting potash down as part of your program, and all of the benefits as far as that goes. And obviously we're going to have some construction stuff. I still have to do a completion video. We're only to application 4 on the neighbor back there, so that has to be done. I want to show you guys what's happening on that, and there'll be a video about how you can build a season's worth of material as well in one box. And I want to get that done over there so that everybody can get an idea of where we finish out the season as far as total rates of N, total rates of micronutrients, all of that kind of stuff, and show you exactly what the cost is. In that video, I'm also going to be breaking down what the cost was of running just a spoon feeding program as well, so that you guys can really get an idea of what this cost. And spoiler alert, it's dirt cheap. You know, even at retail rates, like thinking about this, if I were to grab a box and do a build-a-box of my own stuff and put it out here, it would last here like 3 seasons. And, you know, I would only be at about $35 a year, right, to take care of a spot that I treat every single week. So, you know, when you start to break it down and get an idea, it's pretty remarkable. And honestly, you know, I do like to show off like what the density of this turf is and what it looks like and how the color holds and what we can get through running on these lower nutrition programs, but it's about balanced nutrition. And so I think that's really important as well. So that is all coming up. There's all kinds of stuff. So I just saw a bunch of stuff come through. So let me just take a look back here and see what I missed. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them at me. I actually have free time right now, which is very odd. Kenny John, that is great to hear. Fantastic stuff. Yes, Lazarus Gray, totally. It is really, really good stuff. And I have encouraged people this over and over and over, is make sure that your potash is getting out. Make sure that you don't neglect it. For the most part, in commercial fertilizers, it's pitched for certain times of year. And honestly, for you warm season folks out there, you're coming up on time. You know, for cool season guys, we should be out there really pushing nitrogen coming into the end of the season, because that's pretty much all it really needs. So you know, we want to put it to bed with a full belly, but then as far as like warm season turf, this is a time to put out a bunch of K. It's really super important. I do want to address this. I think it'd be good to just get it out of the way. Let's just see here real quick. I have one from KR2179, beef between me and Matt Martin. No beef. I have no beef. I think that for everybody out there, if that's the sort of drama that you're interested in, you're not really going to find it here. You know, we attempted to do a business deal at one point, and I would say that there wasn't enough of an alignment, but that's not any reason to have a beef. That's all it was. We couldn't do it anymore because of the needs of our customers, and that's really all there is to it. So if there's anything else, you know, that's up to whomever, but you guys can, there's no reason to even talk about it. So let's just see. Brett, I did miss your question. What was your question? You probably have to repeat it. I don't see it in here. BIOS team in front of you worked very well. Yeah, Jonathan, you know, you just keep on it, move it. Great tool to have. Jay, potash in Central Texas. You really need to be looking at that hard, because you're going to have high calcitic soil where you are. And calcium can get high enough to take some of the exchange sites away, and you need to be adding some potassium to that to balance things out, and it will be very helpful for you. So That's it. How much rain before I'm concerned with nitrogen and calcium being washed out? And do you think all the rain I'm getting has jacked the feeding on my lawn? Okay, so that is a good question, A. So just to kind of put this in perspective, on average around the world, every acre of ground gets about 6 pounds of nitrogen annually. That's 6 pounds of nitrogen annually per acre of ground. So some places like in Houston where you are, you might get a little bit more than that. Maybe it's going to be 8 or 9. You know, there's obviously a lot of dry places in the world, so we'd have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But you know, the minimal you get, you're actually getting something with a high charge. The rain that falls is charged up as it comes down through the atmosphere, and so you do see sort of an electrical reaction in your soil because it does come through a static charge and hit the ground, and that can react to some of the other nutrients in the soil. As far as nitrate goes, that is freely available, and moves with water. So as you get a ton of rain, you can see that sort of push off and move away. But one of the biggest issues that you're going to have is if you have a ton of rain and you're dealing with supersaturated soils, your roots are going to be hypersaturated as well. It will be deoxygenated, and you won't have nutrient uptake, period, because the water has to move first. So water is getting expended, and you have sort of these exudates that happen in the root zone as stuff starts to transfer in and out, and you have your nutrients are going to have to flow in with water as the plant pulls it up, so you can actually get some, you know, issues as far as leaching of those nutrients. So it's best to sort of let it dry it out. We have used potassium as somewhat of a drying agent because it is like an electrolyte basically, and it can regulate water going in and out of the root zone. So you can use that when it's rainy, and it'll kind of help to hold on to some of those exchange sites. So I don't know if that answered your question or not. Okay, Brett sucks. I don't actually have those moving out yet. So still not quite there. Scott Geringer, I think I'm saying that right. Yes, absolutely. You can put it in a hydroseeder. Green pop in a hydroseeder at 5 gallons an acre will blow your freaking mind. So it's wonderful. Let's see. What's the last time to get iron down on cool season before it gets too cold? You know, as long as you are actively growing, you're pretty much good for that. You know, as soon as it starts to get cool and you start to see the grass kind of tint down and slow down, I wouldn't really worry about it. So that's something that you can do. Just make sure it's growing, and you'll be okay. Let's just see here. Okay. Yes, Jonathan Sargent, you are spot on. How about a video of fertilizer transport with water going through soil? That would actually be really cool. You know, Cole, that is something to talk about too. You know, as far as, dropped it for a second, the soil goes, you know, your nutrients are going to travel with water. They have to solubilize. They have to be broken down. Depending on what the nutrients are, some of them are going to have a biological interaction, and you get some of the, like especially with nitrogen, energy taken away just by the soil life, you know, somewhere around like 30% of what you apply. Then you have a certain amount that can go towards atmospheric loss, whether that's water leaching, whether that's exposure to sun and atmosphere to have it sort of evaporate off. But everything has to travel the same way, whether it's a liquid fertilizer or a granular fertilizer. It just depends on how it breaks down and solubilizes as it moves through. So that could be fun to do. And let's see, Alan in the house, man. Good to see you. Very good to see you. Let's see, anything else you got here? Following a potash question. Jay, no, it is not solely for warm season grass. The reason I brought that up specifically is because we're coming into the end of the season. Maybe it doesn't feel like it where you are, but now we're having nights where we're getting down into the 30s, and obviously there's no warm season grass up here, but we're starting to think about putting lawns to bed. And when you're thinking about putting your warm season turf to bed, great time to feed K. It is just a wonderful time to do it, and that's why I brought that up specifically. So, does iron have an impact on new grass, good or bad, once it's starting to fill in 2 to 3 weeks after? Hold on. I have a slight deficiency, but curious if I should wait. I would actually wait a little bit. I don't know if you want to push a whole lot into your new seedlings yet. I like to not feed anything until about day 21 to 28 post-emergent on your seed, and then you can start doing something. But likely, you know, if you're seeing like chlorosis, it may not actually be that. it may be that the new seedling or the new grass is starting to strengthen up its cell walls, and some of them are just going to look a little more yellow than others, and it's time for you to feed them. So that's what it's all about. Would you hit Bermuda and host in 1.75 week, first week of October? Trey, you have such a limited chance of frost down there, probably until, man, February. I'm trying to think of when I was a kid, when I lived there. We had 4 snowfalls in the time I was there and a few freezes. I remember breaking the ice on my swimming pool as a kid, and it always seemed like it was in January or February. So you're well outside of the time where you might have any issues. Yeah, so that's something you can, I think you'd be just fine. Mike Smith, man, 8 yards of sand. That is just so fun to do. It's actually, I love moving that type of material. Chad Fleming, can you talk a little about the studies that Huming applied with starter? Yeah, I think that's great. Now, Chad, you can jump back onto my video that I did about this, and it's not a thing. And I don't know why it decided to become a thing, but it's just not a thing. So phosphorus uptake is one of the most well-known, documented nutrients as far as humic acid is concerned, and its ability to keep it mobile and not have it lock out is one of the greatest benefits about it. So, like, especially if I take areas that have high amounts of phosphorus, like Florida, we can use higher concentrations of humic to actually start moving that phosphorus and get it moved up into the plant. It's pretty common. So this is just what I would say. If everybody just takes a moment and takes a common sense look at this. So in a fertilizer mix, so like Green Pop 1621-2, that has X amount of phosphorus in it, right? And actually in the lab, it has 22.1%, but we guarantee a minimum analysis of 21%. So that material is tied with humic, and that is available phosphorus, and it is sitting in a concentrate in solution ready to go. When it hits the ground, it remains in that same regard, ready to go into the plant, and the humic can help it move up into the plant. Now, what you're going to see coming up is with these guys that were doing these seed starter videos, their grass is coming in so fast. I know Nathan was on here for a second. He's been sending me pictures of his progress, and it looks freaking fantastic. You don't really get that. So like on my lawn here, I used the Green Pop just as a supplemental fertilizer throughout the summer. I think I did a 5-week cycle with it. And actually, I already have high phosphorus, so there wasn't really an impact from what you could see as a benefit to putting the phosphorus out. I was just sort of using it as a general purpose fertilizer. I know that because of my soil structure and my clay, it's going to get in there, it's going to hold up, and it's not really going to go anywhere because this soil is fairly high cationic exchange. So I don't really have any concerns with that. But for those of you who live in areas where you might have flushing capacity, like you have high sandy soils, that's something you might want to just watch out for. All right, let me jump back up here. Going up. Wow, a lot of stuff came in. Best and cheap place to get a soil test. Alan, this is a different Alan. The yard mastery tests that Predictive Nutrient Solutions do are good. That is something that is going to give you a snapshot of your soil and give you an idea of what your feeding should look like over a 3-week to 5-week period. It's a snapshot thing, and it's a good way to do sort of a predictive analysis of what's immediately needed. If you want to go a little in depth and talk about soil priming and going further, you would go through somebody like Spectrum Analytic. They have their T3 test is the most comprehensive. The T2 test is wonderful. And I want to say that you're somewhere around like the $30-ish mark, something like that. So that is that. Okay, let's just see here. New lawn, very bumpy. Hold on, wait, I want to make sure. Snow on Valentine's. Okay, great. Sean Smith, yes, Sean. Oh, you're talking to somebody else, sorry. Okay. New lawn, very bumpy. Cool season grass. Can I do large top dressing or do you use smaller amounts over a few years? I actually think you'd be better off going smaller amounts, letting the grass fill back through, just so you are not dealing with, having to reseed anything. Just kind of go lightly, let it grow through, go lightly again, go through and do it just like that. Thanks, Brandon. It's always fun. All right, good to see you, Pursuit of Growth. Hey, we'll talk to you soon. 80s and 70s in the Pacific Northwest. Can I overseed still? Yes, you sure can. Depends on what you're going to get out there, but I imagine that you should even be able to get bluegrass to germinate before it gets too bad. Let's see. Temperatures are lower pH. Treatment to lower pH after seeding. 1 month in now, cool season. Milan, best thing to do is just get elemental sulfur. It takes a long time for it to break down, and it takes a long time to have a result, so it won't affect any of your new seeding. You can go ahead and put that out as much as 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. You shouldn't exceed 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet in a year. Sean, absolutely. So the aerate test is focusing on soil compaction, gas exchange, and rooting. So that's what it's all about, and we're looking forward to it. Yeah, so Jamie, I addressed this earlier in the video. You can go back and watch it. I did that right out of the gate, and I think that everybody should check it out and listen to what he has to say, and you can go back and see my response to that. All right. Anything else in here? Blank man, thank you very much. You know, the beard grows so freaking fast. I don't know if it's, I don't know what the hell's going on. So, okay. I think that's about it. I mean, unless anybody has any like a hot news flash that they need to share, I think I'm going to be pretty much wrapping it up and try to get all of these videos cranked out and just released over multi-day periods here coming up, so I can get all this stuff out to you. I had a little bit of stress that it was snowing on the mountains and it was looking like things were about to change, but today 75 degrees. Just get this. It went from 91 degrees here on Monday to 26 degrees the next day. That's what it was out here. So, all right. Hey, Jay, that's great. See right there, last 3 years, pH has dropped from 7.9 to 6.9. It just takes a long time. That's all you need to know. Okay, so look forward to videos dropping, guys. I appreciate all your support. Love seeing you. Jackie, I am still looking at soil tests. I limited them to 5 a day because I was getting so many of them. I think we turned off the sales on that for a minute just so I could get caught back up. So, and just so everybody knows, I have been doing those as video, and I'm sending a video link of your soil report, going through it and talking through it, and then we kind of continue on from there. So it's pretty cool. And I'm going to be pushing you guys hard to start taking your soil test and doing things as we come into the end of the season, so we can really plan for the next and even the next year after that. So new products, you're going to have to wait and stay tuned for. That's all I can say. All right, everybody. Have an awesome weekend. Stay safe out there. We'll see you guys all real soon. Later.